Hey, Chiefs Kingdom, we have the best Chiefs videos on the internet. At least we think we do. And hey, maybe you agree, maybe you don't. Maybe this is your first time watching this channel. What we do, we bring you the latest Chiefs news, rumors, and a whole lot more of coverage, including some Chiefs offseason losers today. So I'm going to ask you guys to subscribe. Give us a chance. It's 100% free. Let's continue to grow the show. That way, we can do more videos in the future. You're watching the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I am your host, Harrison Graham, and today we've got some Chiefs offseason losers to get into for you guys. 5 guys, we did offseason winners. Now we got to be fair. We got to do some offseason losers. Number 1, and to no fault of his own, it's Eric Bieniemy. And hey, it's a win for the Chiefs that he did not get a head coaching job. But if we're being fair, him not getting one, that's a loss for Eric Bieniemy, and that's just, I don't get it. He should have been hired by somebody. I thought Philadelphia should have hired him. Houston interviewed late, and they chose to go with, I don't even remember the guy's name, the Baltimore, David Culley. Thank you to my producer there for that note. They go with him instead. Interviewed for 7 openings and doesn't get a gig. Like, he has the Andy Reid endorsement. I don't get it. It's good for the Chiefs, and it's not like it's a bad situation for Bieniemy, but the time is now. Like, he's earned this opportunity. Atlanta, Detroit, Houston, Jacksonville, all these jobs interview him. I thought the Chargers with Justin Herbert made a ton of sense, and they opted to go with Brandon Staley, a defensive mind, which I found very interesting. Jets and Eagles as well. Look, I'm happy. It's a huge win for the Chiefs, but I also am rooting for Eric Bieniemy, and I think he deserves the opportunity to be a head coach in the National Football League. So while it's a loss for him, it's certainly the Chiefs gained, but at the end of the day, I want to see him reach that pinnacle, and that pinnacle is becoming an opportunity to be a head coach in the NFL. I think it'll happen someday. For whatever reason, 2020, this offseason was not the right time. Did teams make a mistake by not hiring Eric Bieniemy? Type Y for yes, type in for no. If you're typing you're in, I just don't understand where you're coming from. Get your votes in and let us know if teams made a mistake or not when it comes to Eric Bieniemy. Next up is Nick Allegretti. I think he's got to be an offseason loser because the Chiefs totally revamped their offensive line, and he's no longer really in the mix to have a chance to start, if we're being completely honest. And look, last year, I get it. This is a more pass-heavy team, and he wasn't great there according to PFF's grading system, but Nick Allegretti was not bad last year. I thought he played pretty admirably when he was not expected to play a ton. Kelechi Osemele gets hurt. LDT opts out. He hops in there and plays pretty well last year overall. I didn't think him being in there was the reason why the Chiefs' offensive line just got bodied by Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl. But you look at what the moves Brett Veach made this offseason, which, by the way, they were great moves, but it leaves Allegretti kind of in a weird spot on this O-line because you obviously add Orlando Brown via trade, but more focused on the interior. Joe Tooney, Kyle Long, LDT's basically in addition because he comes back, Austin Blythe, Creed Humphrey, and rookie Trey Smith, who has been drawing rave reviews. The rookie out of Tennessee, who you got in the 6th round, should have been a 3rd-round pick. He might be ahead of Nick Allegretti as well. So you add all that up, you bring back LDT. Where does Nick Allegretti fit? I think he has value. You should keep him on the team. But this is a guy who was starting a lot of games last year and playing at least decently well, and now he's got basically no chance to start. And dare I say, he could have to fight to make the roster. So that's a big 180 from where he was a year ago. And really, it's not even his fault. It's more that the Chiefs have just gotten that good on their offensive line this offseason. Help us out. Subscribe to the Chiefs Report if you love what you're seeing, if you love what we do. It supports the show. It's free. If you're always wondering, hey, I'd love to help this guy out, but, I don't have any money or anything like that, just hit the subscribe button. It's one click. It helps us out tremendously. The more subscribers we get, it really helps us out on this YouTube platform. So hit that button, share that that link with a friend. It's youtube.com/ChiefsTV. We'll keep on plugging out videos for you guys here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. So go ahead and subscribe. Next up is Darwin Thompson, the running back, as we go through our Chiefs offseason losers on today's show. I don't think he makes this football team. I mean, I just don't see where he fits in. Didn't get that much run last year, and when he did, wasn't that effective. He's had a fumbling problem since the Chiefs drafted him a couple of years ago. Only got 3 snaps in the playoffs last year, and that was with CEH banged up. That was with Le'Veon Bell being basically out of the mix, and he only gets 3 snaps the entire playoff run. I think that speaks volumes. And then on top of all that, you go and sign Jerick McKinnon to kind of be that hybrid catch the football type of third down back. Where does Darwin Thompson fit? I guess he's your 4th back. They might carry 4 running backs, but even if they do, where are the snaps going to come from? I think Jerick McKinnon will get more opportunities than Darwin Thompson. Maybe Thompson balls out at training camp and gets another opportunity here, but it's not looking great for him. He hasn't shown a lot when he has gotten chances to play. Liked him a lot coming out of Utah State a couple of years ago. Thought it was a steal late in the draft, but too many fumbles, too much inconsistent play, and too many bodies. I think he's going to have a tough time trying to make this roster. Who should be RB3? Type M for Jerick McKinnon, type T for Darwin Thompson. I think McKinnon, he's more proven. I'm going to go with the vet here for RB3. Now, if it was, as final spot to make the roster, maybe I go with the young guy. But if I'm asking one of these guys to play, I'm going to go with Jerick McKinnon and type my M. Next up is Frank Clark as we go through our Chiefs offseason losers. And you look, you get pulled over with an Uzi in California, you got to get called out a little bit, right? Like, it's just a lack of awareness. You know that California has strict gun laws. It's just a bad move. He gets popped with an Uzi out in the L.A. area and gets arrested. It's just a dumb decision on his part. I'm not saying him having a gun is a big deal, but you just have to have better awareness, especially since he has some criminal history in his past. He's going to draw flack for that, and it could cost him a couple of games. We'll see if he ends up getting suspended. We'll see what the Chargers end up doing once they play out. But it's just not a great move on his part. Luckily, when he's out there, he'll continue to be a factor. He'll continue to be one of your better defensive players. Hopefully, he plays better than he has since the Chiefs signed him. I don't think that they paid him. That he's gotten the production that they paid for, but he's still been a good player. He still is a good player. I just don't understand the lack of awareness by having a gun in your back seat. No, it's my bodyguards. Well, then have better bodyguards. I don't know what to tell you. It's just a bad move on his part, no matter how you slice it. So, got to include him on our offseason losers. How concerned are you with the arrest? Scale of 1 to 10. 10 being you're terrified he might get cut. 1 being, this is no big deal. You should be able to have an AK-47 everywhere you go. I'm at a 5. I'm not overly concerned. Do think he could get a game or 2 suspension, but we will have to wait and see how that plays out. Last up is Khalen Saunders, the defensive tackle. He kind of falls into the Darwin Thompson mold for me of where does he fit on this roster right now? Is there a spot for him? I think he's in trouble. I think his spot on the 53-man is very much in jeopardy. He's been okay when he's played. Last year, I thought was a bad sign for him when UDFA Tershawn Wharton completely outplayed him. But I think Jaron Reed signing him really hurts Saunders because it's an extra defensive tackle, and he's going to start and be one of your core guys. I think that hurts. And Tershawn Wharton, to kind of circle back to him, comes in here as an undrafted guy and just takes over. He's a much better player than Khalen Saunders. Played in all 16 games, had 27 tackles, which is quite a few for a defensive tackle. A couple of sacks, 5 TFLs. Tershawn Wharton is a player that you can build with moving forward. Not saying Khalen Saunders isn't, but how is he going to find snaps? I think that's going to be real tough for him moving forward on this defense. So, like Darwin Thompson, I think Khalen Saunders is just going to have to fight to make the roster, much less fight for actual real significant playing time. So there you have it. Those are my 5 Chiefs offseason losers. We did offseason winners as well, so feel free to check out that video if you haven't already. Eric Bieniemy, Nick Allegretti, Darwin Thompson, Frank Clark, Khalen Saunders, my 5 offseason losers for the Kansas City Chiefs. But the show's always about you guys. Let me know who has been the Chiefs' biggest offseason loser. So far, it could even continue to shake out. We'll see what happens at training camp. Biggest offseason loser for the Kansas City Chiefs so far this offseason. Go ahead and let us know. Last reminder to subscribe to the channel. News, rumors, segments like this one. We keep you guys up to date with everything around the Chiefs. And hey, once the season gets here, we'll do some watch parties as well. It's youtube.com/ChiefsTV.